So, step one in factoring is to look for a GCF. Sometimes there's a GCF and sometimes there isn't. But we should always look for it. And I'm going to give you a little strategy here. Okay, step one is always look for the GCF. Step two is count the number of terms. If you count the number of terms, and there are 4 terms, what we've been doing is splitting the middle. I've got some all over my room. That's weird. Okay, we do factor by grouping if you have 4 terms, and we're going to start with that in example 1 and 2. If there's 3 terms, what we just saw in the warm-up is that split the middle or the perfect square trinomial. 2 terms. We know this first one, the difference of 2 squares, a squared minus b squared. So let's do a quick example. If I gave you 4x squared minus 25, that's called a difference of 2 squares. We could factor that. Go ahead and write this example down. Yeah.
Okay, so this broke again. And I don't want to make a lot of noise. So what should I do? Can I just sharpen it?
Yeah, go ahead and sharpen. That's okay.
Okay, probably take like 20 minutes.
The next 2, we're going to press pause till I get to it. We have a sum of 2 cubes and a difference of 2 cubes, which you haven't seen yet. So this is going to be where I'm going to get something new. But we're going to start with something we know. So,
it's still broke.
Is it sharpener right there?
Okay, so in example 1, we have 4 terms, but you don't want to forget a GCF across all 4 if that's a possibility. So when I look at example 1, I don't see a GCF that can come out of all 4. So you count the number of terms, and I want you to use these notes, okay? You're going to keep going back to do GCF, then count the number of terms. 4 terms, I'm going to do factor by grouping. There's a GCF of x squared, and that leaves me with 2x minus 3. Always write down the middle operation sign. That's a plus. And then what's the GCF of the last 2 terms? What's the biggest thing that goes into both? A 9. Good job. And then notice, when you have 4 terms and you factor by grouping, if the parentheses are not the same, you have probably made a mistake. Okay, probably. Now, there's a 2x minus 3, and then I have x squared plus 9. Now, x squared plus 9 does not factor over the set of real numbers. That does not factor for us. If it were x squared minus 9, I would keep going. But it doesn't, okay? So, I'm going to pause, and I want you to try example 2. If you're a quick worker, go on to example 3 and 4, but then you're going to need to stop until I show you how to do this next thing. Alright, I'm going to get started. This one has an x squared, so I have 5x minus 4. You always write down the middle operation sign. The GCF is a 5, and I get 5x minus 4. So this is 5x minus 4 is the common factor, and I have x squared plus 5. Okay, the only thing we know to keep going would be a difference of 2 squares. X squared plus 5 is a sum, so that doesn't keep going. All right, what questions do you have on example 1 or example 2? Anything I can clarify? No? All right, let's try the third one together. The GCF is x squared, and I get 2 plus x. Write down the middle operation sign. What do you have to remember when the middle operation sign is a minus? What happens when that middle operation sign is a minus? Yeah.
There's a plus in the parentheses.
You flip
Good
the
job.
signs inside of the lines.
Exactly. Okay, nice job together. So the GCF is a 5, and then this is going to make it 2 plus x. Okay, anytime the middle operation sign is a minus, it's going to flip the following sign in the parenthesis. So it was a minus up here, it becomes a plus. The reason why you flip it, negative 5 times positive x is negative 5x. If I make it minus, because above it was a minus, a negative 5 times a negative x is a positive 5x. It's incorrect, okay? So now I pull out the GCF, 2 plus x, and I get x squared minus 5. All right, that's as far as that one goes. But again, if this had been, say, x squared minus 9, I would have made that x plus 3x minus 3. So you have to learn that whatever you have, you need to see if it'll keep going. All right, try example 4 if you haven't already. So I got a common factor of x plus 13, and it's x squared minus 5. All right, so I've got a tool in my tool belt, and I have just a silly story. My oldest son is now 24, and this bar of soap is probably 18 years old. It's like really old. When my children were young, we would take them to the Ohio State Fair, okay, every year. And near one of the buildings, they had this guy, and he was in this green costume, and his name was Bac, or bacteria, and he was passing out bars of soap. Well, my oldest son, it just has fond memories for me. It's silly, but my oldest son, Andrew, he was so scared of this bacteria guy in the costume passing out soap. He like clung to my leg, like, get that guy away from me. And so I have kept this bar of soap because it was a nice little visual. And then I think you might remember soap just based on this silly little story. And let me go back up and show you this. And here's what the soap stands for. Okay, if I have a difference of 2 cubes, a cubed minus b cubed, you keep the same sign. It's the opposite sign, always positive. There's your soap. So if I have a cubed plus b cubed, it's a plus b. That's the same sign. It's the opposite sign, and it always ends positive. So and I'm going to restate this because students always struggle with this, and I struggle with why, but I was racking my brain of how can I tackle this differently. All right, so here's what I want you to do. If you have a cubed minus b cubed, and I want you to write this down, okay? See if you have a little bit of space here. So what you're going to do is you're going to figure out the first stuff minus the second stuff. Like, what is the stuff that you are cubing? And then we're going to rewrite this, okay? So this is not very mathematical, but I'm trying to make it super concrete for you. So if I have something cubed minus something else cubed, here, so we're going to call it stuff 1 and stuff 2. Maybe we should call it thing 1 and thing 2. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. So here's what you're going to do. The formula is stuff 1 minus stuff 2. Okay, so now it's the same sign, and I'm going to have to loop around here. I'm going to put it, so it is multiplication, but because I wrote so big, I'm going to put it down here. So then you're going to take stuff 1 and square it. opposite sign, and then you take, well, this is not working well for me, stuff 1 times stuff 2 plus stuff 2 squared. Okay, I'm abbreviating now because I'm running out of room.
Okay.
Let me write it maybe on the chalkboard here, okay? So you take, if you get stuff 1 cubed minus, just stay with me, okay? Just be patient. And you take stuff 2 cubed. So you figure out what the first stuff is minus what is the second stuff. Okay? Then you're taking stuff 1, squaring it. So here's my SOAP. Same, opposite. Then you take stuff 1 times stuff 2, always positive, and then you take stuff 2 squared. Alright, so I know that maybe doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense, but let's do some concrete problems, and then this will make a whole lot more sense. Okay, it's not as bad as this might appear. So here we go. 8x cubed. What stuff got cubed to give me 8x cubed? What times itself 3 times was 8x cubed? 2x. Okay, so this is my first stuff. And then what cubed is 27? 3. All right, so now let me see if this will make a little bit more sense. So stuff 1 is 2x. Stuff 2 is 3. So here we go. Here's the formula. It says stuff 1 minus stuff 2. Then you take stuff 1 and square it. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. You do the opposite sign. Then you take stuff 1 times stuff 2. 2x times 3 is 6x. Always positive. And then you take your 3, your stuff 2, and square it. So, you guys, the only way to do this is knowing the formula, the SOAP formula. And don't worry, we're going to do a lot of practice, okay? Because it's my goal that by the end of the period you'll be like, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought. So, in example 2, what would you cube to give you x cubed? Yeah.
Wait, so is that the final answer?
That's my final answer. It doesn't, sum and difference of cubes never goes beyond this. That's your final answer. Yes. All right, so back to my question. What cubed is x cubed? X, right? And then what cubed is 8? 2. All right, so here we go. This is the formula. Stuff 1 minus stuff 2. So that's x minus 2. Square the first thing. So that's x squared. And you guys, you don't take that as a negative 2. Okay, it's x and it's 2. Opposite sign, x times 2 is 2x. Always positive, 2 squared. When you're ready, flip the page. And we're going to do 2 more.
Where'd you get it from?
You remember, it's the second stuff squared. So 2 squared is 4.
Okay.
Now, before I move, I want to go back up here to my sum of 2 cubes. The reason why we call it SOAP is these are all the same positions. The signs have changed. If it's a cubed plus b cubed, it becomes the first stuff plus the second stuff. So now it's the same sign. Then it's the opposite sign and ends always positive. All right, so you got to remember your SOAP. So here we go. If I have x cubed plus 125, so that's x that's being cubed plus 125 is 5 cubed. Okay, so watch me. Watch this. So you take x plus 5. It's the same sign. Okay, same sign. You square the first stuff. That's x squared. You take the opposite sign. Here's my SOAP. X times 5 is 5x. Always positive. You take your second stuff and square it. Okay, let's do another one. And then we're after example 8, that's as far as I'm getting in the notes today. Then we're going to do marker boards, and we're going to do like 10 of them just to make sure we've got it. All right, example 8. I have 27x cubed plus 64. So what cubed is 27x cubed? 3x, nice. Okay, 3x. What cubed is 64? 4. And what you might need to do is you might need to take a calculator and play a little bit and go 2 cubed, 3 cubed, 4 cubed, 5 cubed, 6 cubed. We probably aren't going to get too terribly higher than about 6 cubed, but we can do up to 9 cubed and 10 cubed. You just have to do it on your calculator. So here we go. 3x plus 4. It's the same sign as the original problem. Okay, that's what I mean by the same sign as the original sign. You square the first stuff. So you guys do 3x times 3x. That's 9x squared. It's the opposite sign. The first stuff times the second stuff is 12x. N's always positive, and you take the second stuff and square it. All right. So keep your notes nearby. And now we're going to go to our marker boards. And